major tools of law enforcement now is forfeiture of assets. Both the state and federal government have decided that one of the best ways to stop criminal activity is to get them where it hurts. That is, to take the profits away from criminal activity and to make it a non-profitable activity. There are numerous types of cases now in which the government, both state and federal, seek forfeiture. Almost all fraud cases now, they will seek forfeiture of all of the ill-gotten gains. Oftentimes in cases like Medicare fraud, it can be into the millions and millions of dollars. They'll seize houses, they'll seize cars, they'll seize real estate, racehorses, anything and everything that the fruits of the criminal activity was used to purchase. Now, forfeiture cases can be both criminal and civil in nature. That is, it can be part of the criminal case, and if the government is able to obtain a conviction in the criminal case, then there will be a separate hearing to see whether they are also able to get forfeiture of all the assets. But what a lot of people don't realize is forfeiture is oftentimes civil in nature. That is, that the government may not be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt somebody committed a crime. Nevertheless, they can file a civil lawsuit against that person to collect the proceeds of what they say is a crime, and the standard of proof is much lower. Now it is a preponderance of the evidence, since it's a civil case, rather than proof beyond a reasonable doubt in a criminal case. And oftentimes the government doesn't have much proof, and they'll proceed civilly. For example, and this happens all the time, there may be somebody walking through the airport and they have a big bulge in their pants pockets. And a drug agent, DEA agent, will go up to them and ask if they mind emptying their pockets. And the person will empty their pockets. They haven't done anything wrong, and there may be $20,000 in cash. The DEA agent will take that cash from the person, hand them a receipt for the cash, and basically rely on that person to have to go through the legal system to get the money back. Now, the government can seek to forfeit that money in one of two ways. One way, they can file a civil suit against it. Another way is they can seek what's called administrative forfeiture of the assets. Now, the person who has the money that's seized from them has a right to go into court as opposed to administrative forfeiture. But the government will provide the person who the money was seized from with a form explaining the different procedures and basically saying there's an easier route to go, which is administrative forfeiture, which many people do. All that involves is writing a letter basically to the government saying why you should be entitled to the money back. But I recommend that nobody ever proceed that route, because the government is the one that's deciding. So when you ask the government, gee, would you like to keep the money, or would you like to return the money back to the rightful owner, me? You know what the answer is going to be. They're going to keep the money. So you should always proceed through the court system. Now, one of the major problems in proceeding through the court system is that you will have to waive or give up your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. That is, the government will have an opportunity to take your deposition and to ask you questions. And if you assert a Fifth Amendment privilege, your ability to get that money back is going to be extremely limited, because you are going to need to show how that money was legitimate. There was actually a comical case recently, perhaps not to the person who was involved, but $1 million was taken out of the trunk of a stripper's automobile. And she claimed that that was cash that she accumulated through lap dances. And I haven't done the math as to how many lap dances that is, but I assume it's a considerable amount. Of course, the government presumed that it was drug money or some other ill-gotten gains, but the government had no proof of where that money came from. And ultimately, the judge ended up returning the $1 million to the stripper. If you have had assets seized from you, you need to hire an attorney who is well-versed in this highly specific area of the law to be able to work with the government either to negotiate or to go to court if necessary and obtain what's rightfully yours.